Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We were talking. Some people have a problem sometimes making salah. And making salah in strange and unusual places. One time we did there's a website that talks about that. Anyway, most of the time people ask me, because I had a situation that happened to me when I was in the military. The time I went to basic training in the Army National Guard, this is 1976, back before there was any real, Muslim presence in the military such as it is today, and all kinds of amenities and things being made available for the Muslims. Before I left, my sheikh had basically told me to, keep up on my salat and to be conscious of that. Really, officially at that time, I had not officially taken Shahada, but I had already really been making salat, just starting to get it in my life on a daily basis, maybe just a few months before I went away to boot camp. Anyway, it just so happened that so much was going on the first few weeks, I totally, unequivocally forgot about salat. Just from meeting people and going and running from helter skelter from before dawn, before Fajr time, till late in the evening, I totally had forgotten about salat. It wasn't that I chose not to pray, but I was just totally forgot. All of a sudden, after I had already been in boot camp for like about 2.5, 3 weeks, we had just came from a 20-mile hike, and we had a little bit of extra time, spare time before lunchtime. So the guys were sitting around in my room, about all 7, 8 of us, and a few more maybe, I think, from some other room. I have no idea what we were talking about, but just all of a sudden, out of the blue, it hit me, and it hit me just like a bomb. It just came, rushed down my head. Boom! And right in the middle of talking to somebody, I just got a shock and jumped up and ran out of the room. I remember, I'm like, man, you ain't prayed, And so all of our civilian clothes had been taken and put away in the closet, so we didn't see it. So in my suitcase that was in storage, I had my Quran and my prayer rug. I went and got that, came back into the room, put it down on the bed, went down to the bathroom, made my wudu, came back. Now I'm trying to figure out where I can go to pray, because it's definitely going to be more than 5 minutes. All of a sudden, so now we had in my room, you walk into the room, and as soon as you walk in, on the right side, there's 2 single beds. And on the opposite side, across from it, also 2 single beds. There's a small dividing wall. And on the opposite side of that, 2 beds on that side, 2 beds on this side. Mine was on this side, on the inside of the dividing wall. So I can't go anywhere else outside this area. All I got is a little tiny hallway, a bathroom, and a bunch of other rooms that's just like my room. So I finally decided, since everybody was sitting on the opposite side of the wall, like this wall right here, they was like sitting on the opposite side of the wall in that part of the room talking. I said, okay, well, I'm going to pray right here between my bed and my, partner's bed. Because nobody was over there, so I'm going to pray right there. But I went through this whole thing trying to figure out whether or not I should call the adhan or not, and then whether or not I should call it out loud or not. I really hadn't learned that much, and I didn't know a whole lot of things. I know I totally didn't even know my whole salat at that time. But anyway, after debating with myself and talking for a few minutes, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to call the adhan. I have to call it softly because I didn't think it was proper for me to call it internally to myself. And in my own thinking, I had to call it. So I began. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. As soon as I did that, the guys that were sitting on the other side of the wall, they started laughing and rolling and making so much noise and, started calling me. At that time, my last name was Foster. So everybody, Foster, what's the matter? What you doing, man? So I'm not paying any attention. I'm calling the adhan. My drill sergeant, who happened to be from Panama, my drill sergeant stood about 6'2", about almost 300 pounds. His name was Drill Sergeant Baez. And he had he was about a little bit lighter than my complexion and a real Spanish, Panamanian kind of southern accent. He used to say, "Faster, get down." He used to talk to me like that. You tell everybody, get down. Talking about doing push-ups. Say, how many drill sergeant? 50. So anyway, in the military, when the drill sergeant enters the room, first thing you have to do, the first person that sees him is supposed to yell, make way. And then everybody's supposed to move like a wave and get to the closest wall. If you halfway in the room, you over here, the closest wall to you, that side, you get up against the wall. You this side, you get up against that wall. As soon as you see, the first person who sees him is supposed to yell at him. When you answer him, you have to answer, yes, drill sergeant. No, drill sergeant. I don't know, drill sergeant. Immediately. So anyway, my drill sergeant hears all this noise. He comes into the room. He's standing about 6-7 feet away from me on an angle right here in front this way. I'm still standing here. I'm still calling the adhan. La ilaha illallah, whatever I was at. He's calling me, but I'm not answering. I'm calling the adhan. He turns to look at those guys. What's wrong with them? What are they doing? They like shrug their shoulders. I don't know. So he calls me a few more times. I'm finished. Now, I'm about finished. As soon as I finish, I turn to him. As soon as I finish the laugh, hey, la ilaha illallah. And I turned to him. I said, yes, drill sergeant. When I acknowledged him, then he walked over and got close to me. I had my prayer rug standing on my prayer rug without my shoes on right there. He came from this angle in front of me. And after I acknowledged him, he walked up to me, coming to step across in front of me and coming to end up to stand on my left side. Now at that time, I'm 5'7". I weighed 120 pounds. He's 6'2", weighed almost 300 pounds. Okay. When he came, because we had just came from a 20-mile hike, when he came and walked over here to me to get on this side, he stepped on my prayer rug. And I was number one even in the streets. I didn't disrespect my elders. I didn't talk back. I didn't yell at them and all this kind of stuff. Even if I did, I mean, I'm a piece of nothing. He can push his arm away and knock me out of the way. But when he stepped on my prayer rug, I yelled at him like I yell at my son. Just looking at him walking in my rug, we just came from the hike, and all his cruddy mud and stuff like that was falling off of my rug. So when he stepped on my rug, I yelled at him like I yell at my son. I said, get off my rug with your muddy boots on. Now he's really tripping out. I'm like, oh my. And he's looking at me. After I did it, I realized that I yelled at him like that. Because it was totally a knee-jerk reaction. Just like somebody swing at you, you automatically duck or put your hand up to block. It was just absolutely a knee-jerk reaction. But after I did that, I realized that I should be cool. After I yelled at him, he just looked at me real stern, and he said in a deep, sharp voice, what are you doing? So before I answered, I realized, like, oh man, let me cool down. Let me chill down. This is going to get all escalated and stuff. So I spoke in a real soft voice, real chill, brought my tone way down. And I said to him, I'm getting ready to say my prayer, drill sergeant. He looked at me, was quiet for a moment. And he looked at me and he said to me, he got real close, he said, get this thing off my floor. Just like that. Now, I would have done exactly what he said. But in my mind, I had just called the adhan. And because I had called the adhan, there was no question in my mind that I had to make salat. I mean, I could have picked it up, went on and finished the whole thing and went to go eat and came back and made my salat and stuff like that. But I didn't know all of that. And I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, nobody's going to stop me from my prayer. I wasn't going for that. And so I said to him, when he told me to get this thing off my floor, I said to him in a very nice, very calm voice, drill sergeant, but I've already started my prayer. I have to finish my prayer. So he got, the drill sergeants wear those big Smokey the Bear kind of, state trooper kind of hats. He got his hat all the way up, pushed up right up against my side, got real close with his mouth right close to my ear, and yelled at the top of his lungs, which he already had a big mouth, bigger than mine, yelling right at my ear. He called all new recruits trainee. He said, are you disobeying a direct order, trainee? So I'm like, drill sergeant, I gotta say my prayer. Anyway, already long story, not being able to make too short, we went through this whole conversation like 10 minutes back and forth. He's telling me why I got to obey what he says. I'm in the military and I got to follow the chain of command and yada, yada, and all this crap. And I'm really trying for the first few minutes to try to explain to him, because, he don't understand. Yeah, I'm fine with doing that, but I still got God that I got to answer to. So really after like about 10 minutes of trying to go this way and that way, I saw that wasn't happening. He wasn't going to get it. So finally I just told him, I was like, look, drill sergeant, you got to do whatever you got to do. I got to pray. And he also realized that he was, we was at a stalemate. He was at a Mexican standoff. So he said, okay, say your prayer. When you finish your prayer, come see me in my office. And he stormed out the door. So I got ready. As he left, the guys in my room, they all looking like, ooh, man, you going to get it? Ooh. So I go ahead, I make my salat. I do what I got to do. I get finished. Fold up my brother and walk down to his office. I finish, I make my dua, like, oh, Allah, you got this. Whatever you want, I don't care. Just, it's up to you. So I get up and I go down to his office. Knock on the door. Let me come on in. Now he's written down everything that transpired, what happened. He's making his official report. And he wants me to sign it because he said some things. He put on there some things that he said and some things that I said. One of the things that I had said to him was that, serving, military was fine, but God still got to come over that, something like that. So he had all that down. He wanted me to read it and confirm that what he had written was true and didn't sign it. So I looked at it, and then, yes, I said that. Yep, said that. Yep, that's right, said that. Okay, bismillah. And I signed it. After I finished signing it, then he asked me to tell him about Islam. That time, I didn't know anything about doing dawah. I didn't know about dawah. I had never seen nobody take shahada. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I just told him what I do. I'm a Muslim. I don't do this. I don't ring. I don't do that. I pray 5 times a day. Whatever, a few minutes. After that, he was just like, okay, that's it. I had no more problems whatsoever from him, And matter of fact, one time later, I don't know how much later, but another time later, I was down in the laundry room making my Fajr prayer in a place away from everybody where I could be all quiet and everything. This other drill sergeant, while I was in there, calling the adhan softly, but in this it was our laundry room. It just so happened that it was on the opposite side, the other side of the wall was the drill sergeant's office. I didn't even know it. So while I was in there calling, one drill sergeant, one who I really didn't like, he was thanking Allah that he was not my drill sergeant, opened the door, stuck his head in, saw me standing there calling the adhan, then he closed the door and went back out. And I heard him when he got into the drill sergeant's office on the other side. I guess my drill sergeant was also in there. He said, hey, Baez, Foster's in there doing some crazy stuff. He's like, man, leave that guy alone. So that was, my situation in the military, in the Army. I had a different situation, which would be in another story, what happened when I was in the Navy. But, if you don't stand up for what you believe, then you'll fall for everything. When people respect, what you be about, then inshallah, Allah will always make a way. May Allah make it easy for you and to stand up and never leave your prayer for fear for what somebody else might say or do. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.